Hi, this is Attorney Anthony E. Parent of IRSmedic.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a tax debt relief success story of ours, and some of the details have been changed to protect the privacy of our clients. So I want to talk about Paul. Paul had an interesting job. Paul was a salvage diver based out of Houston, Texas, and years ago he was making money hand over fist, as he says it. But there was an accident at his job, and there was a suit. He was sued personally and the business, and eventually the lawsuit settled, but that's not until he ran up big debts, and one of those debts was with the IRS for back taxes for many years. Complicating his story was that he was divorced as well during this time, and that led him to provide alimony and child support for 4 of his children. And last year, or actually it was a few years ago, he hired one of those tax debt relief companies that advertised a lot on the internet. And they told him, they said, "Oh, Paul, we have an exclusive tax debt relief program." And so he believed what he wanted to believe with them, and he gave them a whole bunch of money. And he never really heard a lot from them over the next year. And the next thing he knew, he had a IRS revenue officer come to his house. And he told them about it, and they said, "Oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it." But in fact, the next thing that happened was that one of his bank accounts was levied. So he gave me a call, and I talked to him. And so his first question he had with me, and he said, "Hey, look, you're an attorney. You're an attorney, so I know you're a little bit different than these tax debt relief companies. But one of the questions I have for you, is this a scam? You know, can you really get real IRS tax debt relief for back taxes you owed, or is everyone offering tax debt relief services scamming?" And I told him, I said, "Paul, no, you can. You can absolutely get real tax relief. You can actually settle things for a fraction of what you owe, believe it or not. And it's something that we do routinely for our clients. You can settle for a lot less of what you owe, but there are going to be 2 requirements. And one of those is, the first thing is current compliance. And the second thing is you need impeccable documentation to show your diminished ability to pay the IRS. He said you need those 2 things. Well, Paul goes to me and goes, "Well, what's that first thing you're talking about?" I said, "Well, you need current compliance." He goes, "Well, what's that mean?" I said, "Well, you know, you're filing your tax returns on time and you're paying your estimated tax payments." And Paul says, "Well, I haven't made any payments to the IRS in 10 years. I said, "Well, that's the first reason." I said, "That's the first reason why you're not going to get anywhere, and that company that hired you, really one of the first things they should have done with you was see that you are in current compliance, that you're making your estimated tax payments. Because here's the thing. If you aren't doing that, there's no negotiation. The IRS is not going to settle an old tax debt if you're going to run up a new tax debt. It just doesn't matter." So right there, Paul said, "Oh, okay, you guys are kind of different. I see how that is." And so he hired us. And one of his problems was that he was having problems making his estimated tax payments and coming up with other money to pay his back taxes with the IRS. And with Paul, we were able to restructure his affairs a little bit, and we were able to document his child support and his alimony. And we're able to get all of those allowed as allowable expenses, and we really showed that when he was in actual compliance with the tax code, he actually had very little money left over to pay the IRS. So with that, we did prepare an IRS Form 656 for an offer in compromise. And his $250,000 tax debt was settled for something about $32,000, and that is what he had in a remaining retirement account. So with that, Paul settled his taxes, and he was done with it. And here's the important thing. Because we showed him how to be in current compliance, he's never going to have a tax problem again. And recently I did talk to Paul. He said that he is not starting a new business. He actually likes being a 1099 employee right now. He likes the freedom that provides, and that he says his kids are doing great and they're getting all the money and support that he needs. This is Anthony Parent of IRS Medic. I hope you enjoy this success story, and I hope you can find success for your IRS tax debt problem. Thanks.